such a vibrant thing. I remember when I show my age a little bit here, but when I was becoming a bit of a fan, I was like a massive fan of the FWA. That was about it.
Mm-hmm.
You had the FWA, you had All Star Wrestling, Rick the Knight family. That was about it. Maybe those three. That were the main things. But you'd have to go pretty much to Bethnal Green, York Hall. And, you know, it's funny that still to this day, you still got guys on the circuit like Jody Fleisch, Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
That's still doing it. And you know what? It's amazing. Every time I bump into these guys again, I'm like, they're no different in the ring.
No, I know.
And other than Johnny Storm's hair, everything else is the same, you know?
I wrestled him recently.
Incredible.
I wrestled him like the week before all this stuff sort of got locked down.
Who was that, Johnny?
I wrestled Johnny at Fight Nation. And obviously Jody, like you look at the shape he's in, it's incredible. Like for a guy that goes to the gym like myself and works out a lot, and he's just phenomenal shape. But you know, you're saying like not knowing, like for example, before I kind of did the TV show Love Island, like I had no idea that the British scene was even a thing. I had no idea how big it was. Like because I was just living in this bubble in Ireland, and I was like, oh well, you know, maybe like I remember, I don't know who I was talking to, but I was like, you know, could I maybe get David Finlay Senior's, you know, email or contact? I was trying to get in touch with Finlay's dad to maybe go down and meet him, and then have him like look at me and go, oh, you know what, you're not a bad looking guy and you've got decent shape, you know, let me try and get in touch with, because I just didn't know how to get out there and stuff. So I had no idea that the UK was such a like booming scene, and you know, I feel very fortunate and very grateful that I am, you know, part of it now, and you know, I have been for the past couple of years, and it's just been amazing to watch friends and peers like get those opportunities. And I think everyone was so negative about NXT originally, but I think you look now, it's really starting to come into its own and starting to get its own kind of like respect, and people are taking it on as a brand where it's like, it's not just, oh, let's just take away all the talent so the UK scene isn't a thing anymore. It's like the guys are getting opportunities, and there is an opportunity to move on from there to America and to the bigger shows. And like, you know, you look at like Zach Gibson and James Drake and things, and like Pete Dunne and Tyler, and you know, guys that are bean flown over week in, week out, like Jordan Devlin, like he's like, Jordan's phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? I think I've watched him for like a year at OTT, just having like 5-star match after 5-star match with like anyone that was being brought into OTT, and now he's like legit. I put him up there if like he can hang with everyone, and you know, the best in the world. He can talk. He's, you know, phenomenal in the ring, and you know, that motivates me to see that, you know, if I get there at that performance center and stuff, you know, with time, you know, 6 months to a year of hard work, you know, it'll take me to the next step of my career, and you know, just following footsteps of your peers, and you just use it as motivation to better yourself, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of your style, in ring, are you one of these people that comes out of a match and you're your own worst critic? Or like, do you watch a lot of your stuff back in terms of the in-ring stuff, and are you like constantly, how do you deal with reflection and then like going forward, and is that a difficult process for you, or do you take other people's advice with that? Like what is the kind of you know, part that you play to that?
I used to, you know, ask everyone after my matches, like, you know, was that okay? Like, you know, was it good? Like, and then, but then you can kind of get too many opinions where it all becomes a blur, and you don't really know where to kind of take or what to take on board, because there's just so many. So it's kind of, you know, like I go to people that obviously I respect, you know, how good they are, and I respect what they've done, but I also want people that are going to be like brutally honest with me, because just because I'm their friend or they like me, I don't want them to just go, oh yeah, you know, good match, yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I'd rather someone go, yeah, you know what, to be honest, this didn't look too good, or you know, I don't think that suits you, or maybe you could do this different. Like I'd rather people were honest with me instead of just being like, yeah, good match, mate. Do you know what I mean? So like, because I know myself, like I'm really hard on myself, and I try and get most of my matches filling and stuff, and I'll watch them back and I'll be like, what am I doing here? Or, you know, when I'm running towards the corner, someone, I'm like, look at how slow I'm running, or like this needs to be way quicker, or I give too much time. So, but I think that just comes down to like how I am. I kind of I always want to keep learning. I always want to keep improving. I always want to keep getting better. Like just because, like for example, I wrestle at Butlins, and we do like the main event match for the championship, and it's a really good match. Me and Lucas Steele usually, or like me and Nathan Cruz wrestle, and we have real good chemistry. I have real good chemistry with both of those guys, and you know, we're still always trying to find ways that we can maybe change the match. Not just for, like, we just want to keep it fresh, so we're not just going for the motions, but you know, we're still going up to like Alex Shane and stuff after, saying like, you know, is that okay? Like we haven't got to the point where we're like, oh well, we know the match is good and the crowd love it, so you know, we're doing our job. Like I'm still there every time saying, you know, was that okay? Was there anything? And you know, we know it's a great match and we know the feedback that we've got from it before, but
Sure.
there's always, like I say, I don't think you're ever going to stop learning. Like every time you step through the ropes, it's a new way to, maybe you're going to sell a move differently and see if it gets a different reaction, or maybe you try like just your timing on something different, or taking that moment to the crowd before you do something, and just like that's, some people speak negatively like about working the camp style or working Butlins, but I know that I wouldn't have made the progress that I have in the past like 2 years if it wasn't for the opportunity to wrestle like 6 days a week at Butlins in front of a crowd and to learn. Like that's why I felt like before all this happened, I was starting to get like comfortable in the ring. Like my movement was getting good. I was relaxed. My memory. I never doubted that I was going to like mess up or forget anything, or because I was just literally wrestling like every day. Do you know what I mean? So I can't like speak highly enough of doing that. Like, not forever, because you can then run the risk of, you're just that camp wrestler. But I think, initially in your first, like, before you hit like the 5-year mark, I think, everyone should try and at least get on like a good run of like Butlins or camp sort of like Mega Slam or All-Star shows, because that's really where you learn from making your mistakes and just repetition and being in there with people that are better than you and learning from people,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you mentioned the name there, Alex Shane, obviously very, very influential in the UK wrestling scene. When I was a lot younger, he was like my first. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know there was a British wrestling scene, because he used to have I know he's back on TalkSport, but way back in the day, he was on there on like a Saturday night, I think it was. And he used to be on there for about an hour. And that was my kind of clue in. This guy who knew how to talk. He was only probably about 20 at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just been around for so long, but involved in so much. Do you take a lot of, is he one of your like main guys, you'd say, in terms of like critiquing you? Is he one of the go-to people?
Well, yeah, like he would be one of the main guys that, like sees me the most, definitely wrestling, and probably has watched my progression over the past like 3 years, because he's kind of seen me from, okay, like let's give this guy a chance then on our like Butlin shows, which the standard at NGW, it is very high. They really put in, they want the matches. It's not like boo yay all the time or shall I, like it's like some of the matches are actually real indie, like they would probably, a lot of them would go down good on even an adult show, do you know what I mean, because the action is that good. So he's definitely a guy that's watched me from coming in and being nervous, and like although I looked good, kind of just having to learn, and especially over these past 3 years, and like he's looked out for me. Like I know there's people that want to say what they want to say about him, and or maybe they have a negative opinion, but I was never around wrestling when all this stuff happened or whatever did happen. Like I don't even know, do you know what I mean? Because Alex has always been amazing to me and always looked out for me, and has always had my best interests at heart in my wrestling career. He's never, do you know what I mean? He's always looked out for me and tried to help me, and he's always been there for advice and stuff. So like me personally, I don't have a bad word to say about the guy, do you know what I mean? So
no, I know what you mean.
But you can tell his passion, like even when he's back on the radio, he's such a natural talking about it. You can just tell it's something that he loves, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
and his commentary as well,
Yeah, like when I used to go down there, in terms of a heel, he was fantastic. He was really good on the mic. He could just twist fans just like an instant. He would have no problems just doing things off the cuff. And he was very, very good. And I was going to ask you about that as well, like with you and like your character and everything. Have you kind of tested the waters as playing, like the babyface predominantly and the heel? And if so, is there a preference that you prefer?
Yeah.
And if so, what made you come to that decision?
I get this question quite a bit. Like when I talk, so when I'm at Butlins, right, there is no better feeling. Like I'm the main babyface there. I'm the main good guy. Like there's no better feeling than like coming out like amped up, like Sting. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, the kids are like honestly, the adrenaline rush is phenomenal. Like I do I do like 2 springboards, like a moonsault, like blockbuster every night, which is people are like, oh, watch your bump card and watch how much you're doing. But when the crowd are that invested and they're enjoying it that much, like you don't even feel it, because until obviously the next day or after. But you're just that caught in the moment. So definitely when I'm in front of kids and stuff, like being a babyface is where I excel, because for some reason they they do get behind me, and I guess because maybe I look like this action man that comes out and I'm all smiley and I look how I do, and they're like, oh yeah, we like this guy, so I have so much fun at Butlins. But honestly, personally, when it comes to like wrestling on indie or adult shows, I definitely prefer being a heel, right? Because again, I'm gonna come out like 6'3", in shape, baby oiled up, looking kind of how I do, and most wrestling fans, like they're not going to relate to that. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, look at this guy, like he's the, there might be a one or two that are like, fair play, this guy looks like a, what is it, like this guy's money. But most of the fans are going to be like, oh God, look at this guy, he loves himself. So, and personally for me, like I'm a big, I've said it, like Randy Orton fan, and I take, not that I take a lot of his stuff, but I probably watch Orton the most and try and emulate, sort of with my own twist on it. But when you've got adult guys that have had a few drinks, that are a bit tipsy, do you know what I mean? There's just so much fun when I can come out and be this cool, calm, cocky, like, look at me, look at you, like I look way better than you, your girlfriends want to be, like there's just so much wiggle room and so much fun that I can have. So, instead of me being like, oh, guys, please get behind me, I need you to, I need your help to get through this match, kind of like, I just have so much more fun just being the cocky prick. Like I kind of see myself as like Orton and The Miz kind of mixed together, where I've got that reality TV background and that sort of cockiness on the mic, and I'm full of myself, and then kind of the look and the athleticism of like Orton and stuff, so I've mixed that kind of together. And I think if I was to go into NXT UK, for example, I would love to come in as like the guy that walks in and thinks, you might have this brand, but this is, I'm what's been missing from this brand, like an actual superstar. Like everyone, you leave these walls and people don't know who you are apart from wrestling fans, but everyone knows who I am. And like, everyone's worked so hard to get, NXT to where it is, and like to put British wrestling on the map. And then I can just be that character that comes in and thinks, well, I'm just here to make money. I'm just here to look good. I don't really care about all that. I wasn't around when you were all busting your ass in front of like 30 people to try and make this happen. I've just walked in, I've taken everything, and that's what I'm going to do. And I just think, look at all the hate that I would get from that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's an odd thing now. Like when I talked about heels with a couple of other guys, I had RJ Singh on. We was talking about it a lot, and like one of the things is with the heel, especially maybe in the UK scene, is that it can be very difficult to commit to it these days, because heels genuinely, like from what I see, especially in like an adult show, can almost kind of, without knowing it, kind of come across as cool, which is a problem in itself for then the guy they're working with 9 times out of 10. And also that it's hard to give it that full commitment, because we're living in such a PC world as it is now. Like you've got social media that was never there like 20 years ago, but now you might have fans who are like, right, let's find out where this guy works, let's go outside his place with picket signs and get him. And just
there's so many things that I would love to say, and you just can't, because so like I've spoken about this before. So like I got bullied and stuff growing up, and I know how it feels to be bullied. And like for wrestling fans, although they're there and they're given it whatever, and they feel that they're entitled to say whatever they want to a wrestler or performer because they paid their ticket. Like if I'm the guy that singles out someone in the crowd and makes them feel that bad about themselves, like I don't want that guy going home and feeling, terrible about himself, or like, because for a wrestling show, a lot of fans, it's their escape. They've paid their money to take their mind off, maybe something that's happened in their personal life, or, maybe they're depressed about something, or, so they've come to this wrestling show to have fun and take their mind off it. So for me to then like single someone out and like fully bully them, which I could do, because again, I look better than all them in the crowd, and I could literally stand there all day and be like, really, you're going to try and say anything about me when you look like I could have so much fun and get so much heat, but it's just, you just can't these days, because people will legit be straight on Twitter and be straight out, and it'll, you look at someone like MJF, like he gets away with a lot of stuff, but it's just kind of, like you say, it's cool. People have accepted that that's his character. He makes kids cry. He does what he wants. And it's all like, it's not like, oh, we don't like him, we want to see him get his ass kicked. It's almost like, what's he going to say that's going to be hilarious tonight, or what's he going to do that's funny tonight? So it is very hard to have that. So I feel for me, it's just like, I'll not go out there and try and be cool, but I'll just go out there and be, I know that I'm better than you. So I know that my life is better than you. I know that I look better than you. And, I'm still learning this stuff as well, you know what I mean? Because there is, like, you do have to be careful what you say and stuff, and, but I definitely prefer being a heel, definitely. I feel like it's more fun, definitely.
Sure. And do you think like that'll ever come back round again? Because I always say wrestling moves in circles, but do you think it'll ever get back to the point where a wrestler will be so committed to the point? You remember, like in the old WWE days, I don't think you could never buy a heel T-shirt. You wouldn't be able to as a fan. You just couldn't go and buy the heels merchandise. It would always be the baby faces. But obviously today, I mean, that's completely out the window. Everybody's selling their stuff, so it's very hard to really be that committed. But do you think that'll ever come round again, or do you think we're surpassing that almost in society?
I think we might be, because even at shows, like you'll have a guy that comes out, tries to be a heel, and then within 10 minutes he's at the merch stand, getting put.